I always imagine my next birding trip, the amazing location, the perfect golden light, the rare and exciting bird popping up right in front of me. But usually that's just me letting my imagination run wild, and the reality is a grey and slightly windy morning like today, on day 7 of my East Gippsland birding adventure. Hi, I'm Sonia, wildlife chaser and creative thinker. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm having a great time, but birding trips do have a habit of throwing you a few lemons. And as a commercial photographer turned wildlife chaser, I know how it goes having to make lemonade for my clients when the conditions are far from perfect. It always helps to have a few tricks up your sleeve. Where we left off in part 1, I was back at Jones Bay hoping to find the red-necked avocets. But unfortunately, just as I arrived, I could see them all winging off in the distance. And then this happened. I saw this action unfold right in front of me, but I didn't have my settings ready and I got a very poor quality shot. A gentle reminder from the bird gods to adjust your settings as soon as you get on site, because you never know what's going to pop up. Dull and windy is not a great combination for wading birds because the water looks really unappealing. But I'll take a couple of shots before I move on of these black-winged stilts. My trick with flocks is to focus on one particular bird. It makes for a more engaging photo because it gives the eye somewhere to land. Which reminds me of my friend Roger from Roger's Birding Hotspots, a fantastic birding channel. You must check it out. He told me that black-winged stilts have musk stick legs. I love it. All I can see is long legs of lollies now. And speaking of musk, my first sighting of a musk duck. The wind on the water's a bit unappealing, so I'm going to go and scout out a new location instead. I'm headed to Nyerimilang Heritage Park. I think I said that right. It's only about 20 minutes away, so I'm just going to have a casual look and map out a second trip. And wouldn't you know it, now the sun's coming out. Well, this is very charming. It's a heritage homestead. The grounds are a mix of farmland and bush, and it fronts the Reeve Inlet, not far from Meetung. With this blend of terrain, plus some heritage gardens thrown in, it should make for some really interesting birding. And here's our first sighting, some lovely crimson rosellas picking at the grass seed. While they're busy eating, it's the perfect opportunity to move around until you have a nice clean background. Lots of little birds in the trees. I should wait around and get a cleaner shot of these silver eyes, but I'm a bit impatient to explore the rest of the park. This is a stunning location. Look at that view. It's turned into a beautiful day. There's a salt marsh around here somewhere, so I'm going to head down towards the water. These tall trees aren't ideal for bird photography, but it's really pretty. I wish I had a boat right now. A couple of the usual jetty subjects. I kind of feel obligated to take a photo of them. Well, as nice as this is, it is not great for birding, so I'm going to head back up the 95 stairs and try my luck somewhere else. The reason I don't like tall trees for bird photography is it's hard to coax the birds down and you get a strange angle, so I tend to keep walking in these areas. You mostly end up with shots like this with very high contrast and busy backgrounds. Not what we want. And these are very tall trees in this beautiful little pocket of rainforest. Rainforests are really difficult places to photograph birds unless you've got a lot of time and patience. And this is why I like a scouting mission. You can check out where the best areas are and then go straight back to them and not waste the good light. Now this is what we want. Look at this area. It's low, there's lots of branches to land on, there's water for drinking and bathing, and it's quite open, so we've got a good view around the place. Early morning or late afternoon if it's not windy, this will be a hive of activity and perfect for getting a shot. But I'm probably going to need my gumboots. And another thing that doesn't usually bring much reward, bird hides. They're generally situated too high up, so you can't get at eye level and you can't get a clean background. Where we really want to be is down at the water's edge, down as low as we can get, in the mud with the mosquitoes. Ah, the joys of bird photography. Oh, how can I resist? It's mission impossible, but that's an eastern whipbird, and it's always worth a try. The eastern whipbird is an iconic Australian bird. It's usually heard and not seen. They're very industrious and they love to ferret around in the undergrowth looking for bugs. They're a very tricky subject. I have a favourite spot for whipbirds. Link in the top right corner for my little video. And here's bird hide number 2. I want to check out all these spots so I can come back in a couple of days and really zone into the best parts. The unmistakable honk of the white-bellied sea eagle. Two wedge-tails and 2 sea eagles. Oh my goodness. I'm loving this place. I'll see if I can sneak a bit closer. The subject is perfect, but the light in the background are not, so I'm not going to hang around. The best area by far is that little swampy gully. It checks all the boxes for a great photography spot. This is the perfect way to fill in the middle of the day and give you some valuable insights. I'm going to come back tomorrow, go straight back to that good spot and just hang around and see what I can get. I didn't rush here too early because it's a little bit dim, but it's definitely promising. As you can hear, there's plenty of birds here. I'm going to just sit quietly here for a minute and see if I can get some of these small birds picking through the trees for bugs. Small birds are a real patience tester. They move so fast and you really want to get them on a clean background. Just look at the difference between these two shots. It is difficult, so please don't feel disheartened if you come home without getting a successful shot. Perseverance can pay off, but not every time. I have plenty of days when I get absolutely nothing worth saving and I delete the whole lot when I get home. When you have a fairly open view and a nice attractive background, you can try a small in-frame shot. If you don't have enough focal length, this is a great one to master. They do look best with just one type of foliage in the image, but reflections can work really nicely too. I'm just moving up and down in the one small area really, looking for birds in positions where I can get a nice clean background and moving on if I can't. Getting on eye level with your subject makes a big difference. If you struggle to get down low, try shooting from an elevated position, like here where I'm shooting down into this gully. Always moving quietly and gently, even when in the water. Well, I've had a pretty good run. I'm super happy to get that scarlet honeyeater. I think I'm going to head back to base for some breakfast. And a couple of bonus birds on the way back to the car. Happy days. Nyerimilang Heritage Park has a lot to offer. I'd be happy to come back here again. But my next stop is back to McLoud morass. I want to see if I can find the mistletoe bird. That's the mistletoe birds calling. But I want to try for a few shots from the boardwalk before the sun gets too bright. It's still early enough to shoot directly into the sun. A few things to watch out for are cutting your subject in half with the horizon line and very bright spots that distract from your subject. It's a beautiful effect. It works best with the lens hood and you may need to underexpose by 1 to 2 stops. As the sun climbs higher, I move to side lighting. It's hard to avoid very busy shots when you see a bird like this. I've softened the look using the depth of field blur filter in Affinity Photo. And finally, I was ready for that swamp harrier when he flew overhead. The sun's getting stronger, so I'm moving to shoot with the sun behind me. From a distance, it can look like I have my ducks in a row, but the bird on the right is not sharp because it's not on the same focal plane. So, like in part 1, I prefer to shoot an isolated bird in this situation. Nothing wildly exciting this morning, and I've probably missed the mistletoe birds, but who could complain about being out on a day like today? My second last day here tomorrow. It's going to hit the mid-30s, so I'm going to be up before dawn. I want to go and check out a new location a local told me about. Warning, this could be a goose chase, no pun intended. I should have done some research, but I decided just to wing it. I like the adventure sometimes. The sun is rising fast, but hopefully I'll be there in time. It's a bit like driving along the African plains here. It's beautiful. Well, I'm on a waterway, but I'm on the wrong side of the road. I think I'm at Bull Bay, and where I want to go is Victoria Lagoon. May as well have a quick look around while I'm here. Oh, and a bonus free fishing knife. I'm just going to drive around and see if I can find an access road to the lagoon. Uh-oh, I think this is it, but my car is not going to like these potholes, so I'm going to walk from here. Maybe I should buy a block of land here. Now, is it left or is it right? I'll go left and hope for the best. Arrived, as Google would say. It's very atmospheric. I think I've got here just in time. This is an Ichego Ichie moment. See the link in the description for more about this Japanese philosophy. was magical. Those kind of shoots can be tricky because you can't get close to a subject. I try and wait until the birds are arranged in a randomly pleasing way, a bit like stars in the sky. You don't want them evenly spaced or in rows, but nicely juxtaposed against one another. And guess what? Next week I'm going back to East Gippsland, so stay tuned for part 3.